Nathaniel, I got all the boxing done, and it's getting close to time to paint. But the decision you made on changing these factory I-beams with the rubber-mounted bushings to this upgraded James Duff radius arm with the heim joint is an outstanding decision. I really like these right here. The only thing is they mount exactly where this cross member is, and that cross member I've got a lot of time in, and it's really the only place I have to go between the transfer case and the transmission that's going to be a nice strong spot. So what I'm going to have to do is really going to crowd it, and what's going to be too short in the front. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to lengthen these about 6 inches. I know this thing gets a lot of torque, especially under braking and hard acceleration. So I'm going to order some more of the tubing just like what we've got right here. I'm going to order a sleeve that I can cut down and insert inside of it, drill, plug, weld it all back together, and move this thing back about 6 inches. So let me show you how I'm going to do this. Alright, first thing I'm going to do is I'm going to grind this weld out, and I'm going to be extremely careful and focused and do an exact cut all the way around this and grind this weld right off this thing and pull this sleeve out. After a minute or two of grinding, I was able to grind all the way through the weld and pull out their insert for their heim joint. So I got this out of the way. Then I found some 3/8 DOM tubing, 3/8 thick wall, massively strong. It was just a little bit larger than what I needed, which was fine because I have a machine shop cut 5/1000 off of this, which made it exactly the size I need for that to go up in there nice and tight. I'll take the end of this and I'm gonna bevel this back, and I'm actually gonna weld these together. When I know what the depth is with these two in there, at the end of this, I'm gonna drill all the way through this with this out of the way, and then insert all that and plug weld on both sides. That's gonna keep that tube from moving around inside there. And this will make an extremely strong repair. I've got your 6-inch piece of the same tubing that the radius arm is made out of. Put it on there. Then I'll have all that insert in there. Alright, step one. Got this piece, I back cut this, fixing to weld these two together and then grind that back down smooth. So I made me a little temporary jig. I got a piece of angle that I know is perfectly straight. I checked it with a straight edge. I'm going to put it in here and I'm going to weld it 3 different places, and then come back here and turn my weld up just a little bit and do one nice little smooth weld all the way around that, grind that off, and then that'll be inserted inside of our extension. Alright, now it's time to put this thing together, Nathaniel. I've got my hose drill for my plug weld, which is going to secure the end of this tube in there. Even though it fits nice and tight, I still want to plug weld to hold the end of that. I've got this welded onto my the nipple for the heim joint, and got everything ground and back cut. I'm fixing to go in here and I'm going to picklex all these products to keep down any rust that'll be in here from where my hands have touched it, where moisture's got it. Because once I get it in here, it'll be sealed up airtight. So I'll pickle this, pickle that. This, see how nice that fits on there? Nicely sleeved. Rounded the edges on the end of this so that it won't bind, because I will get some flex in here. Then that inside of there, it's a nice and tight fit. And then I'll just come in here and weld all this together, plug weld that. Here it is. You see it's 6 inches longer. It's been welded, sleeved, and pickled, and so now it's time to sand this one down and get it ready for paint. And now it's time to cut this one off and do the extension on this one. But you can see that is quite an outstanding extension right there. And this thing is a beast now. The second one, after you figure out how you want to do the first one, the second one always goes way faster. I mean, I'm just blasting through this second one. I've already got this cut loose, this sleeve welded to the original heim joint receiver. I've got this piece ground back, slid up on here, fixing to slide up in here. I got to drill my hole, plug weld it, weld all this one, and this one will be done too. But all right, now that I got both of them in place, did a quick little mock-up and show you how good that's looking. That extra length that we've added in here is really going to help this front articulate and work a lot better. So that really looks nice. I want to go over a few things about it. This thing looks like it's been set out in the salvage yard, and it's extremely rusty on the end. It's so rusty on the end that the backing plates are completely rusted off, and just a little remnants of the backing plates. All that seems to spin well and do okay, and the U-joints seem to be okay, but I was wondering, after you watch this video, if you want me to tear all this down and check the ball joints and maybe change the U-joints or something like that. So once you get a good look at all this stuff, we'll talk about it and see what you want to do. But I'm fixing to take, and I've got to wash all this off, wash off part of that plate, wash off a little bit of that, and then weld your axle wedges on it. And these are the wedges I found at James Duff. That's going to save me a lot of time having to cut them off your old axle, and they're already set up for this 3-inch tube, where your other tube was the smaller tube in the Ford F100. So get that washed off. Get this one in place here, and then you can see how much I'm going to have to hog out over here to get that in place. I'm going to have to get in here and really cut some of this out. So that's going to take a minute. So let me get all that cut out. But you can see the condition and the rustiness of all that, and I kind of like to go. I mean, there's the old backing plate. You can see how it's just falling apart. Probably need new rotors, but we'll talk after you see this video. And while we're looking at axles, I want to show you the axle that you bought. Very nice looking axle right here. I wish they wouldn't have destroyed your parking brake cables. I guess when I yanked it out, they just ripped all that out, and we could have really used those, so I'll probably have to buy those cables now. But that's your 1-ton axle. Looks like it'll fit pretty good. I'm going to show you a little bit what's involved. I've had to wash off a plate on top and bottom of this, which was a little intense, but not near as bad as what's over here. There was a bracket in between these two right here that I had to wash out. And keep in mind, I got to cut this off without cutting through this tube. If you cut through this tube, it's extremely hard to get it welded back, because that when you cut through, the oil's going to come through and it's going to wick into the metal, and it's just almost impossible to get it to weld back up. Seems like it'll leak forever. But I've got to get this in there, which is larger, wider, into the actual cast of the center casing here. So I've got to meticulously remove this. Now I've got one piece cut, and oh, there it goes. To show you what's involved here, and you can see how thick that is, and I'm being extremely careful not to cut into that tube, and just remove this whole section all the way around here. Then once I get it removed, I'm going to come back and weld this back to it right here, the casing to the axle, and then I will put these in place on both sides, set this back in place of your frame, and I'll hopefully have the wheels and tires by then, and I'll put the back axle in as well, and then I'm going to set this caster angle to 6 degrees. That should be plenty enough for those tires, and make it self-center and ride good. And alright, here it is, all cut out and cleaned up. All that's cut out, cleaned up, and ready to go. All this you can see is cut out now, and cleaned up and ready to go. And I welded all the way back around there, and then ground that weld down so I can put my wedge plates in there. So I've mocked all the axle up in here with your radius arms to get the exact location of what I want to do with these, and then I want to beef these up a little bit. You're going to see the bottom of this frame, and I want these to look good, be strong, and so what I'm going to do, I know where they're going to go. I'm going to drop them down just about 1.5 inches lower. That way, hopefully we'll have enough room to remove these bolts and take this cross member off if we ever need to, with the control arm, the radius arms on. I also extend them all the way up. I know the axle will never go that high, but I just want to make dang sure that it's never going to touch the head of these bolts. So that's 1.5 inches. So I'm going to take and mount this at 1.5 inches, add some to the back of it, make that come down. These will look real nice, be extremely strong when I get done with them. Alright, Nathaniel, I'll give you a look at how they look factory from James Duff. And this I had cut some of it off. It used to hang over the side of the frame rail, so I cut the edge off and then raised it up and just weld it solid there. And then I'm going to beef it up and show you how it looks when I get done with it here. Alright, now this is what I had for these rear radius arm mounts. Since our radius arms are so long and this truck's with all this big lift, I've raised these up 1.5 inches, which is going to help with that, which is also going to clear the bolts on the cross member, and I think it'll make it where you remove the cross member without having to remove these, just in case you ever need to do that. And then I've made these plates here where these things are going to be massive. They're going to look good. They're going to be massive, and it's a massive truck. You know, we got a 5.9, an Allison 1000. We got Dana 80 in the rear, Dana 60 in the front. Its frame's like almost 20 feet long. It's going to be a massive truck. So might as well make these look massive, and that is going to look awesome because you'll see these under the truck when we're all finished. All right, here they are all finished up, and they are awesome. Well, Nathaniel, we're about to wrap this frame up. All I like is doing your front panhard bar, and I'd like to do that after I get all the weight and suspension on it. And so I'm going to go ahead now, seam seal all your welds. Eastwood's hooked me up with ceramic black single stage paint. That's going to look awesome on here. These turned out awesome. So let's get this thing prepped up in the boot, start shooting some paint on it.